Hello, hi everybody, and welcome to Bibliotequita.colibri and the Centro's story time. Today we're going to have an event all in English. As you must all know, it is National Poetry Month, the month of April, and this time we bring to you a few books of poetry and a few poems. We are very happy to have Itza Vilaboy today as a guest. She is chair of Libros, the San Diego chapter of Reforma, and this is an organization that promotes and supports library and information services for Latinx people and Spanish speakers. I am a proud member of Reforma, and of course, Libros has always been a support and a collaborator for us here at Centro in our Bibliotequita.colibri project. So we are happy to have Itza with us reading. So let me bring her in. And hi, Itza, and thank you for being our guest reader today. Take it away.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm really happy to be here today. Today I'll be reading from U.S. Poet Laureate Juan Felipe Herrera's Laughing Out Loud, I Fly, illustrated by Karen Barbour. It's a Pura Belpre honor book from 1998. A little bit more about Juan Felipe Herrera. He's an award-winning author of poetry for all ages. He's also an actor, a playwright, and a popular professor of Latin American Studies at California State University at Fresno. He lives with his family in Fresno, California. Karen Barbour's paintings have been shown at galleries around the country. She has illustrated several books for young readers, including the poetry collection Street Music, City Poems by Arnold Adolph. Ms. Barbour lives with her family in Point Reyes, California. So I'm going to read a few poems from this book. And I'm going to start off with the title piece, which is called Laughing Out Loud, I Fly. Laughing out loud, I fly toward the good things, to catch Mama Lucha on the sidewalk after school, waiting for the green striped bus. On the side of the neighborhood shore, next to almonds, Jose's tiny wooden mule, the wise boy from San Diego, teeth split apart like mine in the coppery afternoon. It's about 3. The fly smears my ear, but I jump. I am a monkey cartoon on a chile tamal, crazy with parsley patches, infinite flavors, cinnamon and banana ice cream. It's 3 in the afternoon. No, at 5, my mother says she will call me and arrive a rainbow. Esmeralda, the song woman, came and delivered a painted maraca. Esmeralda, the song woman, came and delivered a painted maraca. What a surprise. A tiny open beach, plums and flashlights and telephones and dress shoulders, more grapes and sardines, Bologna and an Aztec careening over the salt. Shake it. I sing rich with seed flavors and ocean fragrance. Barrio jasmines, a little hunchback chile flea, and a string bean of size. My Aunt Aurelia's bifocals, more size, but from Acapulco, before another explosion in Bosnia or California or Chechnya. Hear it? Look how my spaghetti bike crashes against the famous beams. In Mama's Mexican clay bowl, an onion is born. In Mama's Mexican clay bowl, an onion is born, a cilantro skyscraper and a tiny sardine eye, or is it a mad reddish chicken or Socrates, my cat, the only one that scratches stoves, the one who knows about time and the Olmecs who love jaguars and how to make stony balls and the swings her paws, her tie tail far from my pillow, and I dream blue rains in Sarajevo, sweet lovers in the park square, creaking with wind, and stamps of snow. What a laugh, my donkey suit. This pajama that swims over me, my hummingbird body. From I am free, you see. It is in the coffee. It is in the tiny black bean. It is in the coffee, it is in the tiny black bean, it is the smoke of green herbs, friendly, cactus and mole sauce, it is a farewell. My papi leaves to work the fields, floats in tractor dreams. He is a shadow folded over my little sarape bed. It is a poem about my birth and the green, open grape fields, and cotton plants, and prunes and squash. It is the pueblo, the one I remember, from Fresno, from San Antonio, from Coelito, to San Francisco, from Pancho Villa, from Sevilla, and already I told you my name, hot and peppery, good for you. I count dried chile vines and ancient leaves. I count dried chile vines and ancient leaves. Count, a Mexico in Los Angeles, giant Oaxaca and tiny Alaska. This autumn fiesta torn to pieces. Well, let's count. 123 and 8,910. Is this a story about rice, or is it rice with milk? Or is it about a huichol dressed with salsa and toasted maíz, invented in Guatemala? A deep sunset song for the velorio? A praying rain sputters in the candles. Hear it, sing love and memories. A silvery night sky, a warm baby shadow underneath the small crow, dressed up in his smart suit, fire eyes, a fandango and a rosary that mama murmurs, secret oceans. Thick stew in the morning, a clear soup, with strong garlic so you will grow and not disappear. It's been 5 years without rain, 100 without cotton, 7.5 with guitar music. These are my rich years. Count. At 4 in the afternoon, I write in a flash. At 4 in the afternoon, I write in a flash. Crazy girl like strong wheat and a hunk of sun like this, just like this, grandfather says with his mustache. His lightning and his tulip beard like this, just like this. He drinks his coffee from old times, painted inside. He remembers a young Wyoming, that impossible snow, crossing the Mexican border, alone, purring without a mother or father, very alone, silent. A piece of sunlight painted with goat milk says we didn't have windows or schools or dentists, just the sky, open sky, the pure earth. If I was Picasso, I would paint a crab. If I was Picasso, I would paint a crab, dancing on my left hand, copper boots and wild straw, laying on adobe, the world, a sesame seed, mustard seeds. With my love, I would paint a true tiny seed, full of beginnings and gold. This Indian continent, my flavors, would be global, full of green boats and harvests. A soft-handed universe, tender, very tender, with little squirrel eyes. The music would be enormous, raining. And the last poem I will read is called I Was Born with a Tiny Parakeet of Hope. I was born with a tiny parakeet of hope, a beginner engineer of seeds and amber, brushes, and a turtle's colored sarape. We have a history of little caves where we whisper our secrets, my hand, his salt shell, my corridors of El Paso and El Salvador, his dot-dot dance on the wheat-flavored wood. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Itza, for that wonderful reading. I had not heard this text that you just read to us, but it was very interesting because it touches on historical figures and places and people from different Latinx cultures, and it's kind of what we're going to get in this book as well. So thank you. Okay, hi, I'm back. Now to move on to this text, which is Dreams from Many Rivers, a Hispanic History of the United States, told in poems by Margarita Engle, and the art, which you can see here, is by Beatriz Gutierrez Hernandez. And I wanted to show this beautiful cover Um, and this is a very interesting book because it has poems which are told with different voices or characters. Some of these are fictional, and some are real. So each of the poems tell us a bit about someone or something from history. So every poem will have the name of the narrator and a date or a year as well, which gives us some context on what the poem is telling us about. So the first one, this is called A Leader. Fernandito, New York, 1880. Our grown-up neighbor is Jose Marti, a man Papi admires for writing poetry. He's a teacher too, and a friend. When he walks with us in Central Park, teaching us the names of trees and flowers. The poet tells us tales of elephants and other wondrous creatures. He encourages us to write our own stories and verses about anything that strikes us as marvelous. Someday, he promises, we'll all go back to the island where we were born. Someday, when Cuba finally gains independence from Spain and los esclavos are set free, just like enslaved people here in the US. So that poem tells us about another poet, Cuban Jose Marti, and this next one as well. It's called Changing the World with Words. Fernandito, New York, 1898. 3 years ago, the sad news arrived about Jose Marti's death on a jungle battlefield in Cuba, fighting for independence from Spain. So now, when I learned that the island's war has ended with horrifying betrayal by the US, seizure not only of Cuba, but of Puerto Rico too, I remember everything the brave poet taught me about liberty, and I start to write poetry of my own. Verses that protest my adopted country's policy of expansion, always grabbing land and more land, as if the many nations of North, Central, and South America, as well as the Caribbean islands. So both of those poems were from the point of view of Fernandito, friend to Jose Marti. So now we're gonna move on, and this is one that I really liked. It's called Mis Palabras, My Words. Puerto Rico, 1909. I am a teacher who has suddenly been informed that it's unacceptable to speak English in our school on our own ancestral isla. I have no choice but to tell the children about this new regla. US rules can change anything they want, even the island's official language, but laws and hearts are two different things. At home, everyone continues to speak and write with independencia. I really like that one. And the Spanglish, I enjoy. Um, so now we're going to move on to the border context, a little more about where we are here in the frontera. And this one is called Family Branches. Patricia, California, 1925. In the Central Valley, we all intermarry. Every farm laborer bringing originality to his own family tree. Mexicanos, Filipinos, Chinos, Bengalis. With my Sikh father and half Japanese, half Mexican mother, I'm just as American as this farm's owner because he's half Swedish Armenian and half German Russian. Every year at the Fresno County Fair, people dance in such varied styles that the swirls of music sound like a breeze in a huge forest with many leaves. I really like the imagery of that one. Okay, now we're going to move on to the next one, which is called the Great Depression. Emilia Castañeda, California, 1933. Papi has worked in Los Angeles for so many years that you would think he'd be appreciated for his experience and skill. But instead, just as soon as the economy weakens and millions of people need work, my father is suddenly thought of as a thief who steals some other American's job. Will we really be deported? My brother Francisco and I were born here, and at school we speak English. But now we are informed that if we want to stay in the United States, we must declare ourselves to be orphans with no living parents, so that we can be placed in an orphanage, given away to strangers. When we refuse to deny that our father is still alive, we're shoved into a noisy crowd of other helpless children at the train station. All of us forced to travel south with our parents going back to Mexico, a country we've never even seen. Why are we being punished? Our families have never committed any crime. So, of course, with the migration that we encounter, this has always been an ongoing issue here where we are. And this next one also speaks about migrant workers and the workers that help us feed California. This one is called Smoke by Dolores, California, 1937. On cold winter nights, when a hard frost threatens to destroy the orange crop, orchard foremen bang on our doors to wake us up and make us go to light flames in smudge pots surrounded by darkness. We pour oil into the pots, hoping to keep air warm enough to save the lives of treasure trees, our only source of jobs. My lungs fill with soot that makes me cough, and while I'm gasping, my smoke-blackened skirt catches fire. Now, from this hospital window, I can see a billboard that shows smiling blonde ladies in flowered dresses, wearing clean straw hats as they perch on tiny ladders to pluck ripe oranges and place them in quaint baskets. Do city people who stop in neatly organized grocery stores actually believe that the fiery lives of real farm workers don't exist? Okay. So the next one I have here, I really like because it reminds me of my grandfather, who was actually a bracero. My grandfather Manuel, he was a bracero in the late 50s and in the early 60s. So here it is. This one is called Bracero, Emilio, California, 1948. Millions of laborers from Mexico are recruited by the U.S. to use our strong brazos, our arms, for farm work. My first home in this rich northern nation is a chicken coop. I promised myself it wouldn't be my last home because I plan to work hard, sending money back to my family and saving whatever I can, making sure my children will be able to stay in school instead of bending over strawberry plants, sweating so that someone else enjoys a sweet dessert. That one was Bracero. And this one also about the border is called Border Crossing. Juan, California, 1950. I walk all night, jump fences, outrun dogs, escape gunfire, end up lost, then somehow discover my own footsteps, leading me back to this path of weariness under an avocado tree, where I sleep in a bed of leaves trembling from this mixed up sense of loss and gain that makes me yearn to follow my papi who left home as a bracero and never found his way back to me. We have a small illustration here of fence, the fence, the fence, and some dogs. So next up, we have this poem called English Also by Martin, Arizona, 1988. I arrived in the US stuffed under the hood of a pickup truck. From Nicaragua to Honduras, then El Salvador and Guatemala, always crossing through a zigzag of wartime dangers. By the time I reached Mexico, all I had left was the air in my breath and these nightmares. So I enrolled in English classes just as soon as I reached Tucson, because this is my life now, and I don't think the state of Arizona should have passed that unfair English-only law that doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense to any parent who wants smart children to quickly learn two ways of being understood instead of only one. And I think this one coming up is our last one. So if you want to read more, make sure you check this. Purchase this or check this out from your library. This last one ends a little bit on a lighter note, a celebration. It's called Dreams of Beauty, Rosario, California, 2014. So many years have passed since my grandparents left Honduras with nothing. And now finally we have our own, and now finally we own a greenhouse filled with glorious flowers. All those decades of landscape labor, raking leaves and fixing sprinklers finally gave us a way to make a living by growing tropical orchids for weddings, proms, and Mother's Day. Tomorrow night at my quinceañera, all the bouquets will be special in a way that brings past and future into full view, a celebration of old and young working together. So that's, like I said, ends up in a little celebration by a person who was a migrant, and after so much peril and so much struggle, that's her quinceañera. So I think, yeah, that does it for me with the reading. I hope everyone enjoyed it and can explore more of this genre of poetry. We know that it can be a little bit challenging, but sometimes if it is contextualized like these books and the stories tell us a little bit about history or about people who lived before us, and we can make it a little bit more interesting. I want to remind everyone to look at our book drive list that is still being circulated, because we are almost closing the Bibliotequita Colibri book drive, and we want to make sure that everyone gets the chance to support and purchase a book for us. So I think we're about 5 days away from the book drive from ending, all of April. So this collection of books is really going to get us started for our collection of youth books here at the Bibliotequita Colibri at the Centro Cultural de la Raza. So we're very excited, and let's bring in Itza. And I just wanted to thank you, Itza, and thank Libros, of course, for all the support and collaboration they've been doing also to get Bibliotequita Colibri started. Is there anything else you wanted to mention quickly?
I just want to say you're very welcome, and it's been a pleasure and an honor to read today and to share these books. Please include these two books as another part of Libro's contribution to the Biblioteca. So these two will also be a part of the library, and I look forward to the next reading and to the next program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Itza, and thanks for your gift of these books. So next Sunday we will of course continue with our story time. We have a special story time prepared. Look out for what we'll be presenting, and thanks everybody for watching. And any questions about Bibliotequita Colibri, we have our email, which is bibliotequita.colibri@gmail.com. So you can write to us there. And that's it. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you, Itza. And we'll see everyone again next Sunday. Bye.